Hey, hi everyone. This is Ram. Today we are going to discuss about Docker AI. Docker AI. Okay. So generally we'll be working on as a DevOps engineers, right? Like so, where developers will write the code and they are pushing the code to the GitHub, right? So once they push the code to the GitHub, so we'll be writing the Docker files, right? So writing the Docker file and um, testing that Docker file, whether that Docker file is working fine or not. And we'll be building the Docker containers and we'll be checking whether the container is working fine or not. And we'll be checking the Docker logs and we'll be checking the network as well. So all of these things, if you want to perform, you need to remember more and more commands, right? So you have to remember like so Docker related all the commands you need to remember. So what if I say so you don't need to remember all the commands from now. Okay, so writing the Docker files, like keeping like when you write the Docker file, you need to write the instructions, right? Like so what is the base image and the command cmd, encrypt, expose, copy. So those commands you need to remember how to construct that particular Docker file. So and you need to spend, if any Docker container goes down, so you need to spend lot of hours to debug that container, why that container went down. So what if I say, so you don't know, what if I say that like so you don't need to remember all these commands. So uh, like so just if you say that like so can you create a Docker file for me. So there should be something which there should be something which go and create the Docker file for you. And if you ask like so check like how many containers are running and check can you go and access my application. So and you can check the logs why that particular Docker container is getting failed. So all these things we are going to discuss and we will overcome how we don't need to remember all these commands and how we don't need to write complete Docker file. So we will be discussing about all these things. Okay, so now so learning like Docker is not easy for any beginners, right? Like so they should mm, remember all the commands. They should remember all the commands like docker build, docker inspect, docker run, network. So everything they need to create, right? Like so if as I'm a DevOps engineer, so once the developers have been pushed the code, so I am the person, so we need to who need to create the Docker file. So like creating the Docker file. And so to creating the Docker file, you need to select the base image. Like so you need to follow the best practices, like you should not use the huge image as a base image, and you should not use the like root user to inside your container. And use the docker ignore file and use the distroless kind of images. So and install all the dependencies and all the you need to expose the commands. So one like so if you make any mistakes over here, so like so your container will not start, right? So then you need to go and check in the Stack Overflow or Google you need to do. So based on that you need to take that solution and you need to fix that. So if that issue is not fixed, so you need to try again and you need to try again, right? So what exactly this Docker AI will do. So what exactly the Docker AI will do, like, so like consider like the Docker is a kind of the machine, so which it doesn't have any intelligence. So what Docker has provided, like Docker AI will provide the brain for the Docker actually, the Docker engine. So it will provide the brain for the Docker engine, like um, it will figure out all the Docker commands, and it will write the Docker file for you, and it will do the troubleshooting steps for you. Those things it will be done by yours, by Docker AI actually. So how this is going to work, the Docker AI is going to work. So first you need to install Docker desktop. So in your machine, Docker desktop, so which is latest version like 4.78. So once you install Docker desktop, so how we are going to work with the Docker AI. Okay, so I have the application which I build here. So if you see here, so I have the Docker file. So if I go like, so if like, if you want to build this, like you need to write Docker build, you need to write all these commands, right? Like Docker build -t, and the tag name you need to give, and the name of the image, the tag name, like, so my image, and you need to give the dot. So it will go and build your Docker image through Docker file. So instead of that, like, so why can't I go like, I just instruct, so this is what I want, just go and build it. So the Docker AI will do that rest of the steps. Like, so if I give Docker AI in your terminal, so it will open this particular window. So if you ask, like, okay, so my Docker file check my Docker file is following best practices or not. Okay, I'm just giving, it is asking me to like proceed or not. So and then I'm just giving like limit access. Okay, so allow. Okay, yes, it will check that particular Docker file. If the Docker file is not able to find out, it will go ahead and check in your all the current directory actually. Like, so it is saying that, like, so I cannot locate Docker file in a home directory. Could you plus provide the absolute path where your Docker file is there? So my Docker file is there on the downloads. It is there in the downloads slash demo slash Docker AI. So the Docker file is there in this folder. So I'm just giving that instruction. So where my Docker file is there. So now it will go and check. I just given as S. So it will give you like, so it will allow you to add the Docker ignore file. So since I haven't added the Docker ignore file, so I'm just giving the I'm just allowing Docker AI to create that dot ignore file. So and then it is going and checking our Docker file, like, so whether our Docker file is following the best practices or not. Like, so here you can see non-root user missing dot ignore, and health check user directive missing version plans. So now it is after adding this, so your Docker file now following the Docker best practices, and added and created Docker ignore file and all. So now what I can see, like, so can you check can you check any containers running or not? Okay, so if you want to check this, like you need to remember all the commands, right? The docker ps you need to execute, and you can see that. So instead of that, like, so I'm just asking docker ai that is there any containers are running or not. So it is going into the machine and it is running the command. So it is not finding any the containers actually. Okay, so now what I can do, so I should go and build that docker image, right? Like, so I'll go and ask docker ai to build. So can you go ahead, can you build my docker image, docker image? Okay, so it will go and read that file, and it will go ahead and see, it is doing the build and it is executing the docker build command, and it build that the image. So now can you can you create a container, and can you create a container from that image, from that image? Okay, so what it will do, it will go ahead and um, run that uh, the container. So it is already there, so the container is already running with that specific name. So again it is asking me, like, so I'll go ahead and create with the new port, so since it is already using. Okay, so so now the container is creating. Now check the container is running or not, container is running or not. Okay, so it will go ahead and check the container is running or not. So it is saying that the container is running, and also check the logs, check the logs of the container. Okay, so okay, so it went and it has checked the logs as well. And like, can you access the application, and show me the result? So um, it will go ahead and it will ask you to it cannot access the browser. So you can access, it is saying that you can access it in the browser. So what I'll do, so I just click on that link, so I'm able to access that application. So now this is the way, like, so can you and you can check how many containers are running, how many containers are running. Okay, so it will tell you that, like, so how many containers are that running in your machine. Okay, so and if you go ahead and check what is the docker image size. Okay, so it will give you like, if you go see, like, if you want to see all this information, like if you want to see the docker image size and all, like, so you need to remember all the commands, right? So but I'm not saying that, like, so you should not you should not remember all the commands, like, so you should know the concept, like, so then only you will check, you will ask docker ai, so what needs to be done, right? So this is the way, like, so, and now go ahead and stop all the containers are running, and remove them, and remove all the images as well. Okay, so what it will go ahead and it will remove all the containers which are running, it will and it will remove the all the uh, images as well. So This is the way how we can um, use the Docker AI. Like so, like can you check the network? Can you check the network? Okay, so if you want to do all these things, so you must execute all the commands like docker network ls and all. So this is the way how we can use the Docker AI. So let me know, like, so if you have any doubts on top of that, like, so this is the way we need to use the Docker AI. So thank you for everyone.